Good morning, Your Majesties. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you that are new here, welcome to my YouTube channel and happy Sunday. How are you guys doing? What are you guys doing on this beautiful Sunday? Nothing? Okay, anyway, I have a story time for you guys. This one's called The Harvest Man. Okay, and it goes, in the heart of sprawling countryside where fields of golden were stretched endlessly toward the horizon, there lies a small village with a haunting tradition. Each year as the harvest season approaches, the villagers whisper about the harvest man, a scarecrow-like figure said to come to life. When the moon is full and the crops are ripe, the harvest man is believed to be the guardian of the fields, ensuring that the crops flourish and the village thrives. But with protection, comes a dark place. It is said that the harvest man demands a sacrifice to guarantee a bountiful harvest, a life to be taken and buried in the soil. Okay. Riley, a strong-willed and practical girl, had grown up hearing the tales of the harvest man. Like most of the village's youth, she dismissed the stories as nothing more than superstitions. She meant to scare children into obedience. Her family, like many others, relied on the fields for their livelihood. And the harvest season neared. Riley found herself working late into the evenings, her hands calloused from hours spent pulling weeds and harvesting crops. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Riley lingered in the fields, lost in her thoughts. The air was cool and crisp, the first hint of the autumn in the breeze. As she worked, she noticed a strange movement out of the corner of her eye. A tall, shadowy figure standing at the far edge of the field. Squinting against the dim light, Riley saw what appeared to be a scarecrow, its ragged clothing fluttering in the wind, its head a burlap sack with crude features stitched in onto its faces. At first, Riley thought nothing of it, just another scarecrow, and just another scarecrow placed to deter the birds. But as she continued to work, she couldn't shake the feeling that the figure was watching her every time she glanced up. Every time she glanced up, the scarecrow seemed to have shifted slightly, its head tilted in her direction, as if observing her every move. The thought sent a chill down her spine, but she shook it off, telling herself it was just her imagination playing tricks on her. As night fell, as night fell, the fields grew eerily quiet. The sounds of the day, the rustling of leaves, the chirping of crickets were replaced by an unsettling stillness. Riley was about to call it a night and head home when she heard it, a faint rhythmic tapping, like the sound of something sharp striking the earth. She paused, her heart pounding in her chest, straining to hear more. The tapping grew louder, closer, occupied by the rustle of something moving through the crops. Glancing up, Riley's breath caught in her throat. The scarecrow The harvestman was no longer at the edge of the field. It was it it was much closer now. Its tall, spindly form illuminated by the pale light of the moon. The figure was more defined the figure was more defined, its body seemingly made of twisted vines and hay, with long skeletal arms and that dangled at its sides. Its burlap head was titled at an unnatural angle, and from within the stitched eyes glow in eerie, unnatural light. Panic surged through Riley as the harvest man began to move, its long limbs, oh gosh, carrying it toward her with slow, deliberate steps. She turned and ran. Good job. That the tall stalks of wheat whipping against her legs as she fled. But the harvestman was relentless, its strides unnaturally long, closing the distance between them with terrifying speed. Riley's heart pounded in her ears, her breath coming in ragged gasp as she raced toward the village. But as she raced toward the village. But just as she thought she might escape, she felt something cold and rough coil around her ankle. The harvestman's arm, if it could even be called that, had stretched out vines, twisting her leg like a snake. Riley screamed, thrashing and kicking in a desperate attempt to free herself. But the harvestman's grip was unyielding. It dragged her backward, pulling her toward the edge of the field, where the earth had been freshly turned, a gaping pit, waiting for its next occupant. As Riley struggled, the harvestman leaned over her, its grotesque face hovering inches from hers. When it spoke, its voice was a low, raspy whisper, like the rustling of dry leaves in the wind. A sacrifice must be made. It intoned, its breath cold against her skin. The fields demanded, the earth must be fed. Riley's mind raced. Her thoughts a blur. Riley's mind raced. Her thoughts a blur of terror and belief. She clawed at the ground, trying to find purchase, but the harvest man's strength was overwhelming. With the final desperate cry, she tried to plead with the figure, to reason with it, but her words were swallowed by the darkness. Good Lordy. The harvest man's eyes glowed brighter as it dragged her into the pit, its bony hands shoveling earth over her struggling form. The soil was cold and heavy, pressing down on her, filling her mouth and nose, cutting off her air. The soil was cold and heavy down on her, filling her mouth and nose, cutting her air. Okay, the last thing Riley saw before the darkness claimed was the harvest man standing tall above her, its burlap sack head turned towards the village as if marketing its next victim. Good Lord. The next morning, the villagers awoke to find the fields lush and full, the crops more abundant than ever before. But Riley was nowhere to be found. Her family searched the fields, calling her name, but there was no trace of her. In the center of the field, the harvestman stood, its form as still. Oh, The harvestman stood its form, as still and silent as it had always been, its head tilted slightly as if silent vigil. The villagers knew what had happened. None dared to speak out, none dared to speak it out loud. The harvestman has claimed its sacrifice, and the village would prosper for another year. But they also knew that the time would come again when the fields grew barren and the harvestman would rise once more, demanding another life to feed the earth. And so the cycle continued year after year. The harvestman standing over the harvestman standing watch over the fields, waiting patiently for the next harvest and the next sacrifice. Whoa, geez, that's scary. What do you guys think of that story? That's pretty creepy. Let me know what you guys think. Anyway, that is going to be it for today's video. So if you guys are new here, hi, I'm Princess Peyton. Hit the red button to become your majesty and hit the bell notification so you're notified every time I upload a video. And I love you guys so much. You guys are the best human beings ever made. And you're the king of my heart in the song lyrics of Taylor Swift. And I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. But before I go, starting tomorrow, you guys are going to be getting only 3 videos a week. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I will see you guys then. And no, I will not be pre-recording them. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I love you guys so much, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I love you. Bye. Mwah.